Hello sisters and brothers. Today I want to provide you with an update on our negotiations and talk about the upcoming strike votes and what it means for our members if we vote in favor of a strike mandate. As you probably know, the UTE PSAC bargaining unit will be holding strike votes across the country in the coming weeks. The PSAC and UTE are working together to finalize the logistical details of the strike votes, and we will provide you with the schedule of the votes well in advance. In order to be eligible to vote, all members must attend an information meeting to be held just prior to the vote. This will be an opportunity to hear explanations from one of the members of the bargaining team as to why we are asking you to give us a strong strike mandate in order to finally get a new contract. At this meeting, you will of course be able to ask questions and get the answers that will help you make an informed decision. In previous negotiations, the UTE, PSAC, and CRA negotiating teams were able to reach a tentative agreement before the expiry of the previous collective agreement. This was the case in the fall of 2007 and also in the fall of 2010. I would like to emphasize that this had never happened before in the whole federal public service. We were more successful than any other bargaining unit, particularly those that had to deal with Treasury Board. Because the CRA is a separate employer, we dealt directly and solely with them. But what has changed since then? Well, Treasury Board didn't really appreciate us making them look bad, and neither did Stephen Harper's government. As part of its spring 2012 budget, the Harper government took the opportunity to amend the CRA Act and require the CRA to get its negotiating mandate from Treasury Board. This is the main reason why our last negotiations took so long to settle. In the current negotiations, we are still encountering the same problems with Treasury Board. However, we must admit that we also have a lot of problems getting along with the CRA this time around. Why? There are a lot of problems that need to be resolved within the CRA, and our members have submitted a large number of demands. The employer doesn't like it. So be it. They tell us that there are too many demands and we have to drop some. Okay, I understand them. The problem is that the CRA has not, to date, responded favorably to any of our major demands. I repeat, none. In the meantime, the CRA is asking us to make concessions. We have also presented our wage demands. The employer has been quick to reject them, but so far has refused to present us with a counteroffer. However, Treasury Board has presented wage offers to all other PSAC bargaining units. I must tell you that your bargaining team finds it very frustrating and unacceptable that the CRA is not even willing to make us a wage offer, even if it is deemed insufficient. At least that would be more respectful than having nothing. For those of you who are wondering why we haven't returned to the bargaining table since May 2019, the answer is simple. We have indeed had several discussions on this issue with CRA management. On at least 2 occasions, we thought we would be able to return to the bargaining table. However, on each occasion, the CRA tried to impose certain preconditions on us that were simply unacceptable, even insulting. This left us with no choice but to wait to appear before the Public Interest Commission. The hearings before the PIC were held on January 6 and 20. On that occasion, both parties put forward their respective positions on the important issues at stake in this round of negotiations. We are now waiting to receive the PIC's report containing its recommendations, which are, I remind you, non-binding. The Commission has requested and obtained an extension to file its report. We expect to receive it by the end of March. So why not wait to receive this report before holding the strike votes? The answer is quite simple. It's a question of timing. It takes about 4 to 5 weeks to hold strike votes. Given the obvious lack of willingness on the part of the CRA and Treasury Board to come to an agreement as soon as possible, we have no choice but to increase the pressure on them. And what better way than to obtain a strong strike mandate during the high tax season in order to apply maximum pressure? Getting a strong strike mandate in early April will put us in a stronger bargaining position than if we wait for the report and delay the strike votes until April. If we wait, we will not be able to exercise our strike mandate until the middle of May in the best case scenario. In light of the intransigence shown by the CRA and Treasury Board so far, it seems obvious to us that they will take us more seriously with a valid strike mandate as early as April. Why should you vote to give your union a strike mandate? The employer obviously doesn't take us seriously enough. Otherwise, they would have already agreed to return to the bargaining table in 2019, pending the PIC hearings. We must have a strong strike mandate in hand to show the CRA and Treasury Board the seriousness of the situation and the unprecedented level of disgust of our members. We must make them understand that we have had enough and that we will not let them drag things out any longer. No more fooling around. Enough is enough. We deserve a fair and equitable collective agreement now, and the best way to get it is by getting a strong strike mandate from our members. Of course, we are prepared to meet with CRA management at any time to reach an agreement. That's what we've always said, and nothing has changed. When we receive the PIC report, we will study it carefully. If the employer contacts us to return to the bargaining table, we are obviously open to the idea. But we will need the CRA and Treasury Board to show us that they are serious in order to reach an agreement that will be fair and reasonable for our members. The CRA boasts that it is one of Canada's top 100 employers and that it puts people first. It's time to show this to its employees. If our members vote in favor of a strike mandate and our bargaining team is unable to reach a tentative agreement with the CRA, then we could go on strike. As it was the case in the last round of negotiations when our members gave us a strike mandate, we will use our judgment and make our decisions in the best interest of our members. A strike can involve a range of actions, such as targeted activities in specific workplaces, what is called a strategic strike, or a full walking off the job at sites across the country, what is called a general strike. PSAC UT's leadership and its bargaining strategy committee will develop a plan and determine when, where, and for how long strike actions will happen, if applicable. To be entitled to strike pay, a member must work in support of the strike for at least 4 hours per day. In the event of a strategic strike, strike pay shall be 60% of the gross salary of the members involved. These payments are not considered a form of taxable income by the Canada Revenue Agency. This means that the members involved will have almost no loss of income. In the event of a general strike, the strike pay to which members are entitled is $75 per day, unless the member normally works less than 20 hours per week for the employer. In such a case, strike pay shall be $53 per day. Again, these payments are not considered a form of taxable income by the Canada Revenue Agency. UTE PSAC locals may choose to top up members' strike pay. So here we are, sisters and brothers. Sometimes in our lives we have to make important decisions, and this is currently the case. As it should be, our fate is now in your hands. You have two choices. You can choose not to give us a strike mandate, in which case you are telling the CRA, the Treasury Board, and the current Liberal government that it's okay not to respect us, that it's okay to mess around and make negotiations last forever, that it's okay not to give you wage increases for more than 4 years, that you are willing to accept anything without a fight. Or you can stand up and say enough is enough, that it's not okay, that this is unacceptable and it has to stop now. Sisters and brothers, I am not the union. It's not our union representatives either. The union is you, it's us, all the members of the Union of Taxation Employees together. This is your contract, your voice. Alone, we have limited power. Together, we can move mountains. Help your negotiating team by giving them a strong strike mandate so that they can help you get the best possible contract as quickly as possible. Let's show the CRA, Treasury Board, and the federal government that we are an incredible force to be reckoned with and that we will not grovel before them. Thank you. In solidarity.